This week, some filings from the California Air Resources Board reveal that Yamaha look to be on the brink of launching a new sports bike, which will revive the famous R7 name. It's triggered a bunch of attempts to render what it'll look like, all of which look pretty tasty to me. So in today's video, we'll go over the details and tell you everything you need to know so far. But before we get started, if you're new here and you want to see all of the latest motorcycle news right here on YouTube, then please do remember to hit subscribe. The records show that the new R7 will be a 2022 bike. That doesn't necessarily mean that we'll have to wait till next year though. America has a bit of a different convention when it comes to model years, often releasing 2022 models, for example, a year before. And given that emissions data has been submitted to CARB, Yamaha must be close to having the finished product ready to go. The record also states that the new R7 will use a 689cc engine, which is the exact same capacity as Yamaha's CP2 parallel twin that's used on their MT-07, XSR 700, Tracer 700 and Tenere 700. So it doesn't look like we'll be getting an inline 4 like the previous R7, which was a limited run of 500 bikes produced in 1999 to allow them to race it in the Superbike World Champs and the Suzuka 8 Hours Endurance Race. That bike cost $32,000, whereas this new R7 will most likely be at the opposite end of the pricing spectrum. The MT-07 is priced competitively and sells in high volumes, and it looks like Yamaha will be hoping to do the same, but with a sportier take on the platform. In the MT-07, the CP2 engine makes 73 PS at 8,750 RPM and 67 Nm of peak torque at 6,500. So not astonishing figures, especially in the context of the sports bike market, but the CP2 is renowned for being fun and lively on the road. Whether they'll make any modifications to allow it to rev up a little higher for some extra power remains to be seen, but either way, it should make for an entertaining ride. The CARB record also shows a manual 6-speed gearbox, so no surprises there. It also looks like the chassis will be roughly the same, as the weight figures quoted match the MT-07. While 280 kilograms or 617 pounds might sound super heavy, CARB actually use a formula which includes the rider weight as well as the bike, so we can realistically expect it to come in at around the 184 kilogram wet weight of the MT. There's nothing particularly fancy about the MT-07's diamond frame design, and the suspension and brakes are built to a price, but that low weight is one of its key advantages over other bikes in the market, and that should benefit the R7 too. There are two models listed in the CARB document, the YZF-R7 NCB and the YZF-R7 NCL. Apart from the trailing letter, the two records are identical, so it's expected that there'll just be two color options. Personally, my favorite finish on the MT-07 is the storm grey with fluo wheels and touches of teal, and I'd love to see what it would look like as a fully faired version. But of course, black is perennially popular, and a Yamaha sports bike will almost always be offered in their racing blue. There are two bikes that jump out straight away as the key competition for the R7, and that's the Honda CBR 650R and Kawasaki's Ninja 650. The inline 4 of the CBR will rev out a little more and produces decent top-end power of 95 PS at 12,000 RPM. The Ninja is a little down on power, with its parallel twin making 68 PS at 8,000 RPM, but it is about $1,000 cheaper than the Honda, starting at £7,099. My guess is that the R7's price will end up somewhere in the middle of the two. You could also consider the Aprilia RS660 as similar, being a 270-degree parallel twin in a sports bike form, yet with slightly easier going road-biased ergonomics. But that bike gets the absolute works from an electronics and tech perspective, and the suspension and brakes are also pretty well spec'd, so the £10,149 starting price puts it in a more premium category as far as I'm concerned. Yamaha will almost certainly keep it simple and cost-effective, as they have with the rest of their CP2 powered bikes. Personally, I think this bike would be a lot of fun on the road, but as always, I'd love to know what you think, and are they right to have used the R7 name, or is it sacrilege given the race-bred DNA of the original? Let me know what you think of it down in the comments below, and if you're new here and you want to see more videos like this, hit subscribe and I'll catch you next time.